We are now, after adding some printing statements, we are now ready to run our code once again with our debugging process. So we're searching the term F for F. And so as you can see, it's randomly selecting the term. So as you can see, it followed this user, it's ignoring this user, it's following this one. Okay, so we ran into our first code error, and it says tweepy.error.tweeperror code 139 message, you already favorited this status. So when you run into these sort of errors, this is where our try except statement comes in. So we can remove these comments so we can bring back this code, and what we're going to do instead is we're going to write except tweepy.tweeperror as e. And what this is going to do is whenever we get a code, whenever we get an error code, we can check out what the error code is. And to actually check out what the error code is, we need to write an if statement, and we can say if e, and then the correct statement is .args, and then we're going to be accessing e.args, which basically goes into the arguments, which we're looking for 0, 0, and then we're getting the code, and this will return the code status, this status right here, code 139. So if the code is equal to 139, then that means we've already liked this tweet, error with tweet, and then we can just say tweet.id, and since we've already liked it, we can just actually add this one to our appended list, our liked list. Otherwise, we can just say print error with tweet, and then oops, we have to put a plus here actually. Already liked. And let's put a proper spacing where we can. Okay, so now if we run this, whoops, that still doesn't work. Tweepy.tweeperror as e. Oh, simple mistakes, boys, simple mistakes. Now this is interesting. Okay, it looks like we errored out again, and it's saying that we can only connotate string with string, and that basically means we need to convert that to a string and convert that to a string. So Raul, remember, even though it says it's just following this user, it's also liking their tweet and muting them. And after it runs through 25 tweets, it should begin the search for another term. We'll see if it does that. God, it takes a while to go through 25 tweets. Um, I guess while we're waiting, there is another code that I am aware of. I believe the code 88 is for being rate limited. Um, so we can add that in here as well. And when you are rate limited on Twitter, the rate limit lasts for 15 minutes. So we have to sleep for a significant amount of time. I think we can just do that. Okay, so we ran into another error. It says right argument must be string, not integer. And I don't understand what this means, so we'll go to our trusty Google. This is right argument. I thought right lines would work. Oh, we're getting a... Wow. A Google CAPTCHA. Why? A Google CAPTCHA in my code. You can never win. Jesus Christ, this is taking forever. It's the same goddamn bus. Oh my. Oh, well, we could just do we could just make a loop for each of these. We can actually write a new function. Um let's do that instead, I guess. So we'll do def write to file, and then we'll also take a array. We'll take a list. I believe that's how we can. Yeah, list will be a variable. And then what we can do is we'll keep this, and then instead of write lines, we will call the function write to file, and our list will be the liked list. So we'll bring the list into this function, and we'll say for items in list, and that'll basically refer to each item, and we'll do we'll actually have to do the file name too. So file name and then list, and then file name dot write, and then string, and then item, I guess. We'll just write item for item in list. So that'll write a string of each line to the file, I believe. So then after that, what we'll do is we'll do like tweets and then liked. So then we won't have to use the write lines function. So we'll do write to file, and then we'll do followed users, whoops, followed. Oops, we can just replace this instead. And then friend users and friends. Okay, let's give this another go. Actually, this time let's just do 5 tweets to save some time. Okay. Logging our files. And we have 3 new files. Excuse me. Followed users, friend users, and like tweets. If we go to like tweets, we get a bunch of garbage. Maybe we can do this and try that again. We change the term again. Let's go open this. Look at that. And 2 separate followed users with new lines added. Awesome. So, that's pretty much our bot. To update it to what you would want to change, for example, what are we going to want to change? You just want to change the amount of tweets that you're searching for. So usually I just do 50 to 75. I'll change this to 50. And then you can also add additional terms. For example, say you all in addition to them not, having more than 100 followers, you can also just say and like tweet count. You can also say make sure that their tweet count is less than 2,500, for example. And that will basically be like another point of reference that you can check to make sure that they're not like some spam user that you wouldn't want to be following. Anyways, so after this we can add continue and then continue here as well. We don't want the error printing twice. Can I think of anything else? Oh, I guess it would be good to load the files in. I didn't think about that. We'd want to load our files back in if we So I'm going to make a new variable called first run, and I'm going to say if first run is equal to 0, and then we're going to run this function that I just found on Stack Overflow. And that's about it. So we also have to add first run equals 1. So what this code is going to do, and we can actually just write this into a function. And then we'll just call on first run at the end, or at the beginning of every statement. And we'll move this. So I'm just trying to make the code clean as possible for users to understand what's going on. And then this will be step 9, which is read from our files on first run. So to quickly go over what the code is doing, on first run we're going to basically check to see if it's been an hour, and if it hasn't, then, or if it has, then we'll run the unfollow command. If it has been 3 hours, we'll run the unlike command, and if it has been neither, then we'll run the find tweets command. And after that, we'll log everything we've done, close all the files, and then start from scratch. And when we start from scratch, since we've already declared that first run is equal to 1, we won't be rereading our files that we've already saved and edited, so it won't matter. Your files will be updated at that point forward. All right. I guess we can try and run it again. This is local variable first run referenced before assignment. And that just means that we need to put this up a little higher. We'll actually put both of these a little higher. We'll add this up here. The do not touch lists. Let's try it again. Local variable. Oh, okay. So in this definition, it is not marked as a global variable. Weird. Oh, I have to pass in the variable first run. There we go. This is going to be looking for 50 tweets again. Let's change that back to 5. Oh, it's not called tweet count. It's called status count. Oh, it's not called status count. What's it called? Statuses count. That's awfully specific. So far, so good. Look at that. Okay, let's so we got 4 users in there. We have 5 tweets in here. Let's wait for it to determine whether or not let's see if it adds the additional group of users from the next group. It appears that it followed all 5 of these users, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Appears to be working as expected. And I guess one edge case that we didn't add in here is whether or not we checked if the user, if we followed the user already. Let's stop the bot for now. Yep, it continues to append. But now I want to check whether or not we're actually pending or looking at, or we're actually loading these files when we start. So to do that, what we're going to do is for oh, maybe we have to do return followed liked friends. We might have to do that. Let's not for user in followed print user, and let's just see what this does. It didn't do anything. So that appears to me, yeah, that appears to me it's not loading anything. So now if we do this, no? Maybe we... Whew. Goodness. Nope, still not doing it. Return lists from function. Variables cannot be accessed outside of the scope of the function that they are defined in. Okay. Freaking epic. I guess we'll just do this then. If first run equals 0, which we defined earlier, so we'll just run it once before. Yeah. Now that's probably the easier solution, but I just wasn't thinking straight, I guess. I still want to make sure this works, so let's comment that out. Yep, perfect. So that was the reason. Beautiful. So I believe if we exit this, open it back up, and all of our stuff's still saved. Awesome. Okay, so I believe that marks the end of a Twitter bot series. So just to quickly review what we've gone over, from the start of our script, we learned how to log into Twitter, and then we are searching for new tweets under these hashtags or search terms. So you would modify this to whatever you want to search for. We gather a query which chooses a random term from our list, and then we gather the latest 50 tweets, 5 for our testing purposes. Then we say we're searching under the term, and then for each tweet we're checking to see if they have over 100 followers and less than 2,500 tweets, and if they do, if they meet this criteria, then we just ignore them. Otherwise, we'll like their tweet, and then we'll sleep for 6 seconds, basically not do anything. Then we'll follow them. We'll wait for 3 seconds. We'll mute them so we don't see their tweets on our timeline or our feed, and then we'll add them to our list. And in the case of the error, then we print out certain error messages depending on the error. And then our unfollow function, which basically goes through each of the users in our followed list and will determine whether or not if we have a relationship with them. And if we do, like as if they follow us back, then we can add them to our friends list. And if they don't, then we will remove them from our. We'll unfollow them, remove them from our followed list, and then obviously just be done with them, quote unquote. And then we have the unlike function, which will go back and unlike every tweet that we have liked and during that time period. And then the write to file function, which will write the lists that we have to our file. And then the first run function, which is not really a function, but basically we'll open up our lists in case we had to close and reopen our file. And then finally, this is our final loop, which basically goes through the entire process, saying whether we should unfollow, unlike, or look for tweets, and then save or log our files. Okay, so just a few things I guess we can quality of life cleanup. We can do Tweepy get username. Maybe I can look up here a little bit. Tweepy self user doesn't help. Maybe we'll just create a variable called screen name, or we'll just call it actually handle, because that's what I call this bitch, handle. Your Twitter handle. And that'll allow us to not use this. So the only things that you need to edit in this script are your own keys and this handle, which is your Twitter username. Because I can appear to figure out how to self-check. I will edit my handle in there and we'll run one last test. I accidentally ended the recording, but I realized that I set this for 50 followers, so this is going to take quite a while to do. But it appears to be working in full force. I know I did not get to actually test the use cases of the unfollow and unlike functions, but I've created multiple bots before, and I'm fully aware that this function works completely, and everything else is just pretty subliminal. And since we already know that we're following these users, unfollowing them is not going to run into any errors. Sorry about that. As well as removing them from our lists. So the unfollow and unlike functions don't really need to be tests, and we've already kind of ran through just about everything else. Yeah, this has been tested, this has been tested, we've tested this, and that's just about everything in the script. So while it's taken a couple hours, I hope you did enjoy these tutorials. I did like making them. Please let me know down in the comments below if you plan on using a Twitter bot, or if you plan on editing this one to your own usage and use it to gain more followers on Twitter, or adapt it to your own Twitter capabilities and hopefully future functionality. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post mainly videos on math, physics, and science, and I'll also do more coding stuff in the future. I also have more YouTube channels. Stuff will be in the mix, in the works, and I'll let you guys all know. Thank you.